on with our amazing Ann Varney, who's a spiritual teacher. She's an international author, CEO of the Spiritual Awakening Academy, and has a podcast called Spiritual Abundance Creator. Her aim is to help people with their passion and purpose in a spiritual way. Anne has a postgraduate degree in psychology, and she's qualified in advanced hypnotherapy and meditation. She's an acclaimed international spiritual teacher specializing in shamanic energy healing, a master of Sekhem Reiki pranic healing, firewalk instructor. Oh, is there anything else this woman cannot do? And she's an educational leader. Guys and girls, give it up. Give us a hashtag. Anne. Bring her up onto the stage. Ann Varney, welcome.
Hi, Sammy. Boy, did that resonate with me with Dagmar and Phil. Honestly, it really, I was like you, I had 3 burnouts because I used to be a bridal designer, international bridal designer. I traveled the world, designed for international designers, and also I used to make the outfits for celebrities and your gentry, and I also used to design, for exclusive people also, and I used to teach it full time, and I was a single parent of 2 teenagers. So you can imagine, I had a lot of staff I had to look after, and the stresses, the responsibilities, and I was really burning out. I'd been burning out for a bit of a time without me actually really giving the reins up and saying, bugger it, I've had enough, and it actually took me to go to a 10-day trek to Machu Picchu, believe it or not, to go there and have what you could only class as a spiritual awakening in some respect, and seeing, shit, there's more to life than this. There's more to life than this stress and this responsibility and all the crap that goes with it, So decided I would go and retrain, my business went to bankruptcy. I let it go to bankruptcy, just before bankruptcy, actually. And that comes with a lot of things, a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of crap, and what have you. So I decided to go and do a master's in psychology. Who does that? Master's in psychology. I had never done anything in psychology. I went to university for a full year, but killed myself going and doing a bloody master's in psychology and child development because my passion was kids. Went and worked at child adolescents mental health with a private hospital where kids were severe anorexia. It was barbaric what they did with these kids. Barbaric. It really was. I always say to people, be careful what you wish for. You may get it. And I really did get what I wished for, but it wasn't actually what I thought I wanted, and realized. So even though after my bridal business, there was a few things I went and did, and before I actually became a spiritual teacher, because there was a lot of fear was around it, a lot of judgment, a lot of people who knew you were coming from a bridal industry where it was very bitchy, it was very judgmental. You had to be a certain way you acted, and you had to be a social queen and all the rest of it. So there was a lot of balls you were thrown up in the air to be who everybody else wanted you to be.
It sounds like some massive expectations. Again, it's from the outside in, isn't it, guys and girls? If you've had those kind of societal or family or workplace expectations, give us tell us in the comments below, what type of expectations have you come under pressure with? Maybe it's all 3. Let us know in the comments. Anne, that's a massive amount to go through, and you've gone through a big transformation. I think you could have spoken on all 3 days this RippleFest about owning your identity, and then owning your value, stepping into your gift, owning your purpose, owning your lane, because you've actually gone through that, as we all have, all of our speakers have, that whole process. And so when it comes to stepping up and shining and being in that heart space, how did you do that? What did you do to get to that place?
So basically, I actually, a lot of people, when they come into that tension, that fear, is they run. They go the opposite way and they don't go the way they should be going, because the tension is where the growth is. The tension is where the change happens. You know, like you said, you know, you went to the doctors, the hospital 4 times, and they said you have to really change. You have to change the way that you're going to be here, and and this is where a lot of people go wrong. They keep doing the same thing day in, day out, because they don't know how to change. But I've got a 7-step process that can actually help people change. So in the comments, put in something that you're stressed with or have tension with right in this moment. You know, that's in your life just now. Something there's a stressor or there's tension around it, even someone that's triggering you. But how many people do we have in our life that actually triggers us? You know,
Yeah.
and it puts us into anger or guilt, or our kids are very good for that.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because depending on who you're around as well, I notice that when I'm around my mum, I naturally eat more around my mum. And I don't know what the hell that's about. And I noticed it last time I was there. You know, my mum, like, she's a big community person. She's a feeder. She wants, no one goes hungry at my table, you know. She's like mountains of food all the time. And it's like, as soon as I go there, it's like I step into that expectation. So I'm a little bit of a different person. And I noticed it when I was in France a few weeks ago, which is interesting, versus when you're in front of other people who you step up and become, you know, whether you step up, step down, sidestep. Like, who are you being when you're around those people? It's a really interesting question. Guys and girls, get your answers in the comments. Could you just repeat the question, Anne?
So acknowledge where your stress, your tension is. What is actually stressing you? What's your tension? Just one word, you know.
Yeah.
What's
stressing you out right now? What one thing is
thing.
overwhelming you or is getting in the way of your success? Okay, get that in the comments. All right. So while we wait for the comments to come in, let's move on.
Step 2, you're going to identify and name it. You're going to acknowledge the pain that you're going in, because not the story. It's what's the pain, what's the emotion? Is it, you know, because depression is a pain. Anger, fear, frustration, sadness. What's the pain? You know, I'm frustrated at myself. I'm angry.
We've got a few people that have put finances in the comments, that's something that's happening all over the world right now, I'm sure. So what are the emotions? Acknowledge it. What are the emotions that are going with it?
Change the definition of it. So usually when we're angry or we're in lack, I'm skint. You know, how many people just say I'm skint? Well, instead of saying I am, say I'm having an experience of the emotion.
Okay. For those that are in the States, you might not use that terminology. I'm skint, I'm broke. You know, if you do, you get that, Carol? Just give us a thumbs up. Do you use the same language? Okay. Just checking. There are some words that don't cross-pollinate.
You're changing the definition of it. So it's, instead of I am broke, you know, I'm having an experience of being broke. I'm having an experience of being angry. And watch how the energy around it, because I'm all about the energy. So watch how the energy around it changes. Just like when you take the word bad out of something, the energy around that changes. So step 3 is notice what you want to do to take the pain away. What do you want to do? What action do you want to take to get out of this? You know, what do you want to do instinctively?
So this is a really interesting question, because what I tend to find if I ask a question like this is I get an away from. What I don't want is move towards what they don't want. It's like, okay, and what if you did, what do you want to move towards? Like, what is it that you actually want? So guys and girls, if you found yourself automatically going into a what I don't want, do that, recognize it and do it, and then move towards what it is that you actually want, so that you're getting it and putting your focus on that.
Because most people, what they do is they don't face it. They run away from it. They shut down. They don't say anything, you know, they'll play around and round in their head and just They don't do anything about it. Well, you're not to do that. That's step 4. Don't do that. Just don't do it. Stop that action that you would normally do. You know, if it's going round your head, or if it's,
Mm,
you know, you're running away from it, or you're shutting down, you know, just don't do it. Just use your will to withdraw from that action that you would normally take. You know,
mm.
use your will. What I do, how I do this is, I see a big red button in my head, and I just go poof, and I see a circle, and I step into the circle. So I'm stepping out my current reality, and I want to step in away from it, and I go no, and I'll step,
I
and I
love
literally
that.
take a step. I literally take a step.
That's awesome. And you know, just so that we can reflect on that particular piece, give us a hashtag choice power,
Mhm.
because it really is like it is willpower, and it's also saying, you know, I'm using my choice power and going even that further step. You know, this is something that I choose to. I don't have to do this. I'm choosing to do it. Hashtag choice power, guys and girls.
Yep. And then step 5 is, what I do here is I actually go into my heart space. So I just take my awareness down to my heart. I breathe into my heart, just a nice big deep breath into my heart. And I can feel my heart. I can just feel it expanding. And then what I do is I just allow myself, imagine myself, I'm rising above whatever's going on. And I remove myself from it, you know, I just pull back from it. And then I just see myself in a circle with a golden ball, you know, that's above my head. And I just see myself seeing as I'm rising above it. And I look at it from a different perspective. That's step 6. What's the perspective when you're in your heart space? Your
I
true
love
self,
that.
because it's a totally different perspective of you being in your ego.
Beautiful. Give us a hashtag heart space so you remember to come back to that. That's a really important point, because as well, Anne, you know, we can think that we're getting into our heart space, but we're still in our head. How will they know they've dropped into their heart? What's the
You'll
sign?
know if the perspective has changed.
Uh-huh.
You'll know if it's changed. You know, if you're still seeing it from the same perspective, you're not in your heart space. You know, you'll see it's changed.
Good point.
You know?
Mm.
And look at, and then your last step is, what is the true action you take from that perspective of the heart? You know, what is the true
Mm.
action you take? And it's not to fix yourself.
Yeah, do you know, I know so many times I hear people that want to get out there and make that ripple, they want to make an impact, but they feel like they've got to fix themselves
Yeah.
somehow first. There's always this if when I've lost weight, I will, if when I'm, you know, healthy, if when I've built my business, if when I've launched that lead magnet. There's always an if when. What if we could release the if when? Give us a release the if when, guys and girls, in the comments. And give us a what if in the comments as well. What if you could choose to release that? What would your life and business and health and money and relationships and the love that you have, what would that be? How different would your life be if you were able to spend more time in that heart space? I think that's beautiful, Anne.
And it's usually, what action are you taking? You know, because let's be honest, for us to change or to move into something or do something, there always has to be action. Always has to be action. You know, whether that action be that you've got to speak up, or you've got to speak your truth, or you've got to say something and reach out to get some help. You know, because
Mm-hmm.
you know, if somebody's in anger, usually the anger is coming from powerlessness. You know, that
Right.
where someone's, it doesn't feel in control, and usually, I wish I knew all this when I was bringing up my teens. I'll tell you.
Well, we'd go back and tell our younger selves, eh?
Oh, what?
Oh.
What? Have a different life.
I'd love to know in the comments, actually, guys and girls, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would you say? Get it in the comments. I'd love to know what you'd say to your younger self. I can see Carol is busy there with her light bulb moments. I love it, Carol. Keep them coming in the comments there. And guys and girls, keep your comments coming in underneath the live in the Facebook group. I can see that at this moment in time, we are at, let's have a look here, we are at 81 comments. Who's going to get us to 100? Who's going to win the 100th comment, I think we're going to put a little challenge out there. And Carol, we can't count yours because you're in Zoom. You're putting them all in Zoom. And for those people that want to find out more about you and the amazing work that you are doing, could you just tell us a little bit more about the work that you do and how we can reach out and connect with you?
Yeah, well, you can get me at annvarney.com, my website. Also, LinkedIn, Facebook, Ann Varney. You can get me there. I also have a scholarship for that I do. It's a 20,000 in total that I give to as the Awakened Teen, because I think we've got such a issue with teens, and this is who's coming up, for our world and what have you. And they need to re-educated. They need to know about their emotional resilience, their behavioural issues, and what, because most of them, because I used to work with teens. I even did my thesis was on the effects of meditation on children's behaviours in a local high school. About killed myself, an 8-week study, but the difference in these kids from just showing them how to relax, how to just get heart-centered and relax. It was amazing just to watch it. So yeah, I've got scholarships for that. You can get that on I think you would get that on my Facebook page. I don't think it's on my website as yet.
Well, I mean, if you give us all these links, I can make sure they go in all the links you've mentioned tonight. I am going to have to wrap up, Anne. What one thing would you love to leave our Ripple Makers with this evening?
Make the effort to actually step into your power. Those 7 steps are really powerful steps to step into your power, because when you're in your power, nothing can stop you.
Unstoppable, #unstoppable, #infinite. Like, make up a word, give it a hashtag, guys and girls, get it in the comments there. And thank you so much, from my one to yours. Thank you for dropping in with us. We're going to be following your journey and watching you as you progress, because what you are doing in the world is so necessary.